It was rough up there. I know I had a blast up there. I mean, you're living on the edge all the time. Uh, I went 93 days without a day off, and that's wrestling anywhere. Well, that's wrestling twice on Saturdays, on double shots on Saturdays and Sundays. And then you had TV tapings on Mondays and Tuesdays, and you might wrestle once, you might wrestle 4 times. And if you were in a dark match, you might have to wrestle 5.
A lot of work up there, right? I mean, so many dates and crazy schedule that Vince McMahon and WWF had during that period.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was running 3 major cities a night. You know, he had 3 crews on the road. We were going all over the place. And it was mind boggling. You carried everything in your boogie bag. That's your you know that's your that's your deal. You got your booking sheet, your portfolio full of airline tickets. Then your credit cards and your ID and everything. So you get your rent a car. Well, everything's like was always pushing you on to the next step. I kid people go, "Oh, you went all over the world." Yeah, let me explain to you how this goes. You get up in the morning at 5 o'clock. You got to be at the airport because you're usually on the first flight going to the next destination. They get you on. If you're not on that flight and you don't make the shot because you changed your flight, that's a $5,000 fine. I've seen that happen to a couple of guys. They change their tickets around. Oh, I'll leave at 11. Then that 11 o'clock cancels, and then they don't make it, and they get fined big time. But anyway, so you're on the flight. So you're trying to get your food, your breakfast. You're trying to get your nap in with your sleep because when you get to that town, you got to rent your car. You got to get to the hotel, get checked in, go to the gym, eat. If you're going to hit sunbeds, whatever, come back to the hotel, get ready, go to the event, wrestle your match, shower, get ready, come back to the hotel. Then, if you were a partier, which everybody was back uh, then you go to the hotel bar and you're there till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. You usually close down the bar because that's what you do. That's what wrestlers do. And then start the whole thing up the next, a few hours later.
What tours were you normally on? Like the A, B, C? Like what did you normally work as far as WWF house shows?
Oh, shoot. I worked them all. I mean, I was a bunch of times. I mean, I worked a lot on Hogan's cards, on Jake's cards. It was kind of like, oh, they just kind of switch everything around.
Just going back to WWF, obviously WrestleMania 4, you just said the Battle Royal Survivor Series 88, you're part of as well. Big team, the Beefcake Ultimate Warrior team together. The WWF run, did you ever expect more? Was you ever promised more by Vince? Because you always hear
Yeah, I was
stories of Vince
promised. Yeah, I
is
was promised
saying, he
everything.
promised stuff.
Yeah, I was promised everything. They said, "Oh, we're going to give you 3 months off to go home," and blah 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 blah. Yeah, yeah, I got promised everything, and they didn't come through on it. So WCW, called me up and said, "Hey, we got some work." I was like, "Okay, give me a shot." Went down to WCW, and then I ran into personal issues after that. My separation and split with my wife and everything, and I just went over the edge. It was too much, and I guess overload, and I was off to the races. Just couldn't handle it. Couldn't hang.
What were some of the promises WB as far as like were you going to get a push? Were you
I was
were you
going to get a
supposed to get a
push. I was
title?
going to get a merchandising contract with the action figures, the T-shirts, everything. But I was going to. I'd been promised that they were going to push me, but which look, the guy, gosh, he's built one of the most successful companies, in the universe, I guess, or in the world, and so he can make the rules, whatever rules he wants to make. What he's trying to do is keep his talent happy so he can get the most out of them. You know, so you know,
Ever ever a promise of like intercontinental title or anything like that or no?
oh, I don't need promises like that. Cool. The belts are cool and everything, fun to have and stuff like that. But really, it's not needed.